Hare Krishna. So, welcome to this morning Bhagavatam class. Today we are reciting the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, the title Lord Vishnu's Appearance in the Sacrificial Arena, and the text number 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So text 15. Evam dvijagri anutmata anuvratta dharma pradano nyatamo vitasayaha rasvena kalena gruhopayatan drashtasi siddhan anurukta loka evam dvijagri anumatta anuvratta dharma pradano nyatamo vitasayaha hasvena kalena gruhopayatan drushtasi siddhan anurakta loka evam dvijagrayanumattanuvrata dharmo pradano nyatamo vitasaya rasvena kalena gruhopayatan drashtasi siddhan anurakta loka. Prabhuji. Evam dvijagrayanam anumatta anuvrutta dharma pradana nyatamo vitasya rasvena kalena gruhopayatan drashta siddhan anurakta loka evam dvijagranumatta anuvrutta dharma pradana nyatamo vitasaya krishnena kalena gruhopayatan drashtasi siddhan anurakta loka evam dvijagrayanam anumutta dharma pradano nyatamo rasvena kalena gruhopayatan drushtasi siddhan anurakta loka. Mataji. Evam dvijagrayanumatta anuvrutta dharma pradanayanam Vishvena kalena gruhopayatan drashtasi siddhan anurakta loka evam dvijagrayanumatta anuvrutta dharma pradano nyatamo tamo vitasya Rishvena kalena gruhopayatan Drishtasi siddhan anurakta loka. Word to word meaning. Evam. Thus. Dvija. Of the Brahmanas. Agriya. By the foremost. Anumata. Approved. Anuvritta. Received by disciplic succession. Dharma. Religious principles. Pradhana. He whose chief interest is. Anyatama. Unattached. Avita. The protector. Asyaha. Of the earth. Hrasvena. Short. Kalena. In time. Griha. To your home. Upayatan. Having come personally. Drastasi. You will see. Siddhan. Perfected personalities. Anurakta loka. Being loved by the citizens. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Please repeat with me. Lord Vishnu continued, My dear King Prithu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahmana authorities as they are received by the disciplic succession by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principles laid down by them without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you, and very soon you will be able to see such already liberated personalities as the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara. Purport. Lord Vishnu advised by King Prithu that everyone should follow the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Then in whatever capacity one remains within this material world, his salvation is guaranteed after death. In this age, however, since the system of Varnashrama Dharma is topsy-turvy, it is difficult to strictly follow the principles. The only method for becoming perfect life is to develop Krishna consciousness. The Varnashrama Dharma is executed from the different positions by different men, so the Krishna conscious principles can be followed by everyone in every part of the world. There is a specific purpose in mentioning herein that one should follow the Dvijagriyas, the most prominent Brahmana like Parashara and Manu. These great sages have already given us the instructions on how to live according to the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Similarly, Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami have given us the rules and regulations for becoming pure devotees of the Lord. It is essential, therefore, to follow the instructions of the Acharyas in the Parampara system, who have received the knowledge and pass it down from spiritual master to disciple. In this way, although living in our material condition of life, we can get out of the entanglement of material contamination without leaving our positions. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises, therefore, that one does not have to change his position. One simply has to hear from the perfect source, this is called parampara, and follow the principles for practical application in life. Thus, one can attain the highest perfection of life, liberation, and go back home, back to Godhead. In other words, the change is required is a change in consciousness, not in the body. Unfortunately, in this fallen age, people are concerned with the body, not with the soul. They have invented so many isms pertaining to the body only, not to the soul. In the modern age of democracy, there are so many government representatives voting for legislation. Every day they bring out new laws, but because these laws are only mental concoctions manufactured by inexperienced conditioned souls, they cannot give relief to human society. Formerly, although the kings were autocrats, they strictly followed the principles laid down by great sages and saintly persons. There were no mistakes in ruling over the country, and everything went perfectly. The citizens were completely pious, and the king levied taxes legitimately, and therefore the situation was very happy. At the present moment, the so called executive heads are more or less selected from the materially ambitious persons who simply look after their own personal interests. They have no knowledge of the Shastras. In other words, the executive heads are fools and rascals in the strict sense of the terms, and the people in general are Shudras. The combination of fools and rascals and Shudras cannot bring about the peace and prosperity in this world. Therefore, we find the periodic upheavals in the society in the forms of battles, communal riots, and fratricidal quarrels. Under these circumstances, not only are the leaders unable to lead the people toward the liberation, but they cannot even give them peace of mind. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that anyone who lives on the concocted ideas without reference to the Shastras never becomes successful and does not attain happiness or liberation after death. Hare Krishna. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Siyuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We are continuing discussing the Prithu Maharaj pastimes. So we are continuing with the Prithu Maharaj pastimes from Canto 4 and the chapter 20. So if you recollect what all happened in the Prithu Maharaj pastimes, when Prithu Maharaj was planning to do the 100th Ashwamedha Yajna, horse sacrifice, so Indra was coming and taking the horse away from the sacrifice, so that he wanted to disturb the sacrifice, 100th sacrifice. Then, so Indra was repeatedly making an attempt to steal the horse, and Prithu Maharaj's son was trying to bring it back. So, but finally, Prithu Maharaj got to know that Indra is doing all these things. Then he was very angry, and then he was trying to kill Indra in the sacrificial arena, the fire sacrificial arena. But the Brahmanas stopped him, that we should not perform any such activities in the yajna, during the yajna time in the place. So then what they suggested, work around. So they will do from mantras, the power of mantras, Indra will come into the fire. So when they are ready to do, then Brahma appeared and they stopped in Prithu Maharaj that don't do that, we should not kill Indra, he is Indra. So later Vishnu came with Indra. Indra was regretting for whatever misdeeds he performed during the yajna, and Lord Vishnu started speaking in this the instructions. from past few verses we have been reading. Last week Gokuleshwar Prabhu was nicely explaining all these things. So Vishnu, as part of the instructions in today's verse, it was mentioned that okay, we have to follow the instructions from the scriptures, and how we have to take the instructions from scriptures from the senior brahmanas, qualified brahmanas who are in the disciplic succession. We have to take the instructions. So, but if we analyze the past time, like when Indra, when Prithu Maharaj he got angry when Indra was repeatedly making an attempt to steal the horse, right? And then he was ready to give punishment. Even if you see the Prithu Maharaj past time, previously when Mother Earth was not giving the required grains, that time also Prithu Maharaj he was very angry. He was about to punish Mother Earth. Now in the same way, he is doing to punish this Indra. But if you see the Prithu Maharaj position, he is a king. So he has every right to punish. Even other side, the Indra is trying to establish irregular sannyasa order, right? He is coming in the sannyasa as a sannyas and trying to steal. So it is an irregular activity. So Prithu Maharaj is as a king of that this complete world, he has every right to punish this person who is doing in other activities. So that is one thing. And the second thing, we see that Krishna is a partial incarnation of Shakti Avesh avatar of Krishna. Whenever Krishna descends here, the basic purpose is protecting the devotees and killing the demons to establish dharma. So he is a partial incarnation of Krishna. So in considering these two, he is a king and partial incarnation of Krishna. He has every right to punish the people. But in this case, the person who is doing the incorrect religious activities is not an ordinary citizen of this country, kingdom, right? He is an Indra, Devata, demigod, king of heavenly planets. So that is the difference from the normal condition. In normal ways, he would have directly punished those miscreants, the incorrect of the people. But in this case, this person is Indra. So then Indra is a demigod. He is a country. He has certain responsibilities to fulfill in this material world. So then Brahma jumped in and he stopped Indra. And then Vishnu came. And Vishnu also convincing. All is trying to so many instructions he was giving. And the basic purpose of the instructions is to make Indra, Prithu Maharaj realize that we kill Indra, then we don't need to kill Indra, but we need to he was trying to make the Krishna conscious devotional service is important, and in this regard he started speaking all the instructions. So if we see how he was starting that instructions, and if you see the couple of the previous verses, it was very clearly mentioned Varnashrama dharma is very much important. Everyone has to follow the Varnashrama dharma. That is one thing he mentioned. And then he was also giving the knowledge about the Atma, and right, how this soul, material world, and in today's verse he was giving that we need to get the instructions from the bona fide Acharya. So these are, if you see all these instructions, we try to see and understand what exactly Vishnu is trying to convey. If we try to analyze all these instructions, including today's verse instruction, we will get a bigger picture. We're connecting all the dots, all the information, we can better get a bigger picture of what exactly Vishnu is trying to say. So in the beginning he was Atma Jnana, right? He was trying to differentiate what is a soul, what is a material body. This material body, it is made up of all the various elements, like the 24 elements it was discussed last week, like karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, sense objects, and five material elements, subtle body, and so many things, that considering all these material bodies, and in this material body the soul is residing. Since it is present in the material body, it's conditioned, and not only that, apart from that, three modes of material nature, three modes are constantly acting on. Because of these things, what is happening to the conditioned living entity? He is experiencing the duality. Duality means happiness and distress, and profit and loss, and so various positive and negative things we are encountering. So why it is happening? Mainly because we are in this conditioned material body, and the modes are interacting. So because of that, he is experiencing duality, happiness and distress. But in case of when you see the spiritual world, these modes are missing. So that is the reason there everyone will be happy. Since absence of these modes will make you happy in the spiritual world. But in the current material world, it is these modes are making the duality. Like everything we see in the two terms, either positive or negative, not one. So, but in spiritual world, it is only one thing. So if you have to get that same feeling, what we are getting in, what we supposed to get in spiritual world, we need to transcend these modes. We need to come out of these modes. And in order to come out of these modes, what Vishnu is saying that perform Varnashrama Dharma. That was the instruction he gave in the previous verses. So Varnashrama, by practicing Varnashrama Dharma, what will happen? You are, by executing the prescribed duties according to your Varnashrama, Varnas and Ashram. Varna, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. These are the four Varnas. And Ashramas, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. So by executing these Varna and Ashrama, and each one will have prescribed duties, what will happen? Our consciousness will be purified. And when our consciousness is purified, we will progress in the path of devotion. So that is how these instructions are laid down. And this is what Prithu Maharaj was explaining. And in today's verse, he is further elaborating, just practicing Varnashrama Dharma is not enough. We have to apply combine with the Krishna consciousness, we have to practice. Why this instruction is given, let's analyze further. So what are the drawbacks if we don't just take the instructions from bona fide acharyas, simply follow the Varnashrama Dharma, the prescribed rules and regulations? What will happen? What are the difficulties? Let's try to analyze few of them. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentioned, he has created this Varnashramas, Chatur Varna Maya Srishta Guna Karma Vibhagasa, right? The Varnashramas was created by, how it was created? Based on the Guna and Karma. Means, what are the qualities you are exhibiting and what kind of activities you are doing. Combining these two, these various Varnas and Ashramas are defined. This is what Krishna was mentioned. Now, but in practicality, in the Kaliyuga, what is happening? How people are practicing this Varnashrama Dharma? It's completely derailed. Right? People are not, what is happening? Let's see, the original thing is, based on your activities and swabhava, nature and the work you do, you will be classified as a Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra. But in the current age, what is happening? It became a caste system where people started thinking, okay, I took birth in the Brahmana family, I am a Brahmana. I took birth in a Kshatriya family, I am a Kshatriya. So like that, people are started giving their own definition. This is not Shastra, as per Shastra. Shastra is clearly saying, based on your quality, the swabhava and work you do, these things were mentioned. But in the Kali Yuga, what is happening? People started giving their own definitions of what, and they are applying their own definitions and they are practicing. So they are actually not exhibiting any Brahmanical qualities. Simply they took birth in the Brahmana family, they are considering it as a Brahmana. Simply they took birth in the Kshatriya family, they are taught it. So otherwise, they don't have any qualities of Brahmana. They don't have any qualities of Kshatriya. But so now, as a result, what is happening? This Varnashrama system completely degraded. That is what Prabhupada was mentioning the purport, that how the Varnashrama system was being impacted. That is one thing. So first thing, there is no, people are not following practice shastric approach to decide who is Brahmana, who is Kshatriya. But the next thing, it is when we talk about Varnashrama Dharma, each Varna and Ashrama will have prescribed duties. How people are practicing prescribed duties? Again, we can take some examples. If you see the Grihastha Ashram is there, and people will have a family, right? So the head of the family works very hard to get money. And what is the purpose of his earning money? He will try to feed his family, his children. So he works very hard. Let's say one generic scenario. The head of the family is working very hard. Daily 15, 16 hours he is working and he is trying to get money. And he is trying to feed his children. So they need a shelter. So he's going to buy a big house of 2 million, 3 million, let's say. And then he is having kids. Kids will have so many activities. And he need a car to take care of, to take them to school and to perform various activities. So he need a car. And I'll buy a big luxury car. So these are all, at one sense, taking care of family is a prescribed duty. But when you do this to big millions of dollars house and big luxury cars, what's happening? Is it really elevating your consciousness? Is it because the basic thing is when you perform prescribed duties, your consciousness has to transform, right? Then you will go back to, you will get the bhakti in the progress in bhakti. But what is happening here? So when your consciousness is if you do the duties like this, like buying luxury thing, and what would be your consciousness? How will it help really? So in Prabhupada was explaining in various purports in Srimad Bhagavatam. He explained about two words, Grihamedi and Grihastha. Both perform same activities. Yes, they perform. But ultimately Grihamedi will do for his material enjoyment, for his pleasure. Whereas Grihastha, he will keep Lord in the center. He will perform every activity for the pleasure of Krishna. So if he buy a big house, yes, it is for pleasure of Krishna. He will invite many devotees. He will perform various programs. Right? The consciousness is, he will do everything, whatever he does, it is for the pleasure of Krishna. So if you, to be more precise, you do something which is pleasing to Krishna. Right? That is what the prescribed is. But in general, people are, I'm not saying denying that taking care of family is wrong, but what consciousness you are trying to take care of your duties. That is important. That consciousness is missing. Many people are in the Varnashrama Dharma. The basic understanding, the missing point in the many general common people is, you have to do these prescribed duties for the pleasure of Krishna. So that is missing. So then that's what in a Grihamedi, Grihastha, when he is explaining, both activities do the same. Yes, devotees also will buy big houses and everything. But ultimate their mood is to serve the devotees, to please Krishna. Right? So that is it. So this is one thing where the prescribed duties interpretation is not according to Shastras. First thing we saw, defining who is Brahmana, who is Kshatriya, that is not happening according to Shastra. Second thing, what a Brahmana has to do, what a Grihastha has to do, these activities are not aligned with the Shastras. People are giving their own, implementing their own way. So this is causing the degradation of the Varnashrama system. And one more example is, if you see the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, these Varnas are there. How this, again, the impact, because how these things, by not practically following the proper way, how it is impacted. Let's give another example. Suppose in olden days, when Brahmana is the head of the society, he gives the instructions to king. And king takes the instructions from him and he is going to rule the world, his kingdom. And so this is kind of monarchy, right? So, but gradually what happened? These Brahmanas, like we see, if I took birth in the Brahmana family, I will become a Brahmana. And they are not exhibiting properly Brahmanic qualities. What is happening? The purity of the Brahmana is degraded. And then king thought, okay, this Brahmana is not a pure Brahmana. Why should I follow? Then king will started following his own rules. So then it will become autocratic. Right? So now in the system, Brahmanas are not doing properly. Since the Brahmanas are not pure, Kshatriyas started doing their own way, not taking the instructions from Brahmana. Kshatriyas. Then what is happening? Kshatriyas are moving away from the path. Then the next level is Vaishya. Vaishya, what he has to do? He has to do trade. And he has to pay the taxes to king. And then using the taxes, king will rule the kingdom. But now the Kshatriya the Vaishya will think that, okay, Brahmana is not doing his job properly. Kshatriya is not doing properly. Why should I pay the taxes to government? I will keep it for myself and do. This is where capitalism started. Right? Where all the private parties are coming and ruling the trade and everything. Right? This is where the capitalism started. Now the last option is Shudra. Shudra will say, okay, the top Brahmana is not doing his job properly. King Kshatriya is not ruling properly. And the Vaishya is not paying taxes. Ground level, everything is done by this person, Shudra. Right? So everything, I am doing everything, but these people are not doing. Then why should I? Then that is where communism started. Where as a group of this community, based according to the contribution, you will get the return. Right? This is where the so the failure of Varnashrama Dharma, how impacted the various ways. So these are all the things we can understand how the Varnashrama Dharma is failing. The first reason, not following the Shastric way to decide who is Brahmana, who is Kshatriya. Second thing, we don't have what is a prescribed duty. The prescribed duty is to please Krishna. And as a result of these two, how different people started different isms, right? Capitalism, communism, and these things came because of all these are not prescribed in the Shastras. Why? Because of the deviating from the Shastras, these things were evolved. Now, so the important thing is we need to follow the instructions of the Shastra. That is one thing. But who will define the instructions of the Shastras? In Bhagavatam says, Dharmastu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. So, Supreme Lord Krishna, He create these injunctions, these rules. So, we have these instructions. When we say the verse is saying, we have to follow the scriptural prescribed duties from Shastras, means this Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, various scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam will give us the idea how to live in this world, how to live from this world. Right? That is what those instructions are. Krishna created those instructions. And by following the instructions, we can, means when we say prescribed duties means as per different varnas and ashramas, whatever the prescribed duties mentioned in the Shastras, we have to follow. Now here one other problem. If I read on my own way and if I interpret the instructions, I may go wrong because we are constantly in this material world. We don't have we have like in a Bhagavad Gita introduction we see that the Prabhupada explained there are 4 main defects all the conditioned living entities are having, right? Cheating propensity, committing mistake, illusion, imperfect senses. These are all various defects everyone in this conditioned world people have. So I may not be able to interpret these rules properly. That is a possibility. I will read the verse in particular way, I will interpret and other person will interpret. So each person, again the problem will be interpreting the instructions in different way. So as a result what will happen? Again you will derail, come out of the Varnashrama. So the best thing, that's what in this verse it is mentioned, following the Varnashrama Dharma, align and get the instructions, the prescribed duties, who will, the bona fide acharyas will be providing. So like the instructions are there in the Bhagavatam, but how the Bhagavad Gita and various scriptures, but those instructions, take it from the bona fide acharya. He and who is in the disciplic succession. So he will not misinterpret those instructions incorrectly. He will get the instructions guidance from his spiritual master. And if he traces back, it will connect to Krishna. So the way it should be in the parampara system, we have to get those instructions and practice our Varnashrama Dharma. So when you are approach bona fide spiritual master, obviously he will give the instructions which will help you to progress in bhakti. So that's why it is mentioned in purport and in many ways. You don't need to change your varna and ashrama. Whatever activities you are doing, you do with proper instructions from the supreme bona fide authority and then do it. So practice it, then you will be able to progress. This is what we can understand from this verse. And that's why in the purport, in the verse also telling, Evam Dijagya Anumata Anuvritta, Dharma, like Dvijagri means the topmost Brahmana, and Anumata means it is approved. Anuvritta means it is in the disciplic succession. So the rules which are approved by Brahmana and it is in the disciplic succession, we have to follow. That's what the first 2 lines of the verse is talking. And the next one is another important message we can derive from this for our practical application from this verse, right? So if you follow the religious principles, just I'm reading the translation. If you follow the religious principles laid down by them means the great sages, great acharyas, like Prabhupada was mentioning, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they are giving us instructions related to devotion, and otherwise different Manu and other sages, they giving how to live. So combining all these things, they lay down the path. If you follow the path, what will happen? Without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, just follow the instructions properly without using your own ideas. What will happen? The citizens will be happy and they will love you. The Vishnu is telling Prithu Maharaj, if you follow all the instructions, what will happen? Your citizens will be happy and they will love you. And very soon you will be able to you will be able to see already liberated personalities as four Kumaras. Like the four Kumaras, they were impersonalists, but they have a desire to see Vishnu, and when they got the smell from the tulsi plant leaf, they transformed into devotion, right? So they became a great devotee. Similarly, all your citizens will be liberated souls. They will be in the path of divinity. So this is King Prithu, but this rule we can apply at our level. If a country head is there, if he is having this kind of attitude, all the citizens will be happy. That's what even Prabhupada was saying in the purport, right? Currently, all the people are fools and rascals leading the society and country. But if the person is this concept, this mindset, if you rule the kingdom, all citizens will be happy. That is king, state level, or the community level within our community, or the temple president level we can see, or even Bhakti Vriksha, Bhakti Sangha lead. So at different levels, we can apply this principle. And what will happen? The person who is under, the people who are under you, they will be happy. Simply, without attaching to the result, without attaching to interpreting in an incorrect way, you will be able to progress. Best example, Srila Prabhupada. When he met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, right? Since they saw, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati saw that Prabhupada was having very good English communication skills. And he suggested, okay, people like you should take this message to Western world. Then he took that instruction seriously. He did not add any attachment to that result. Okay, I have to, using this opportunity, I will go to abroad and I will settle down properly. No, Prabhupada didn't think that way. Or he didn't add his own interpretation. Simply spread this message in Western world. That is and he spent his whole life and he achieved. Right? That is a important example. We can see that. And then, if we don't follow the instructions properly, we saw the examples, and this is not only just examples, Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter also, it is saying that, Ya Shastra Vidim Ustrajya Vartate Kamakarata Na Sa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Param Gatim. So this 16.23 Bhagavad Gita is saying, Ya Shastra Vidim Ustrajya. Ustrajya means giving up. What you are giving up? Shastra Vidhi. Whatever is mentioned in the Shastras, if we ignore it, if we don't follow, what will happen? Vartate kamakarta. What will happen? You are not following the principles of in the scriptures. What you are following? You are kamakarta. You whimsically following. Means, what the example in the subsequent, in the purport it was mentioned. Whimsically means, there is a rule. I should not drink alcohol, or I should not eat meat. But what will happen? When everyone is doing that, it is wrong, but you will do it. Right? This is how happened. Then this is called doing that whimsically. Okay, I feel like doing it, I'll do it. Whether it is right or wrong, even though it's wrong, but this is called, when you don't follow the Shastra Vidhi, this is what happens. And then what will happen? Na siddhim avapnoti. You will not be get any perfection. Ultimate perfection of the life is to progress in the bhakti, get the liberation, and go back to Godhead, right? Then you will not be able to achieve any of these things. And so you will not be getting perfection in your life, you will not be happy. So these are the consequences. We see the examples, what we previously, right? So the same thing Bhagavad Gita is also telling, right? If you don't follow the Shastra Vidhi, you will not have any perfection in your life, you will not be happy. One example, with one small story, I will conclude it. If you don't follow the Shastra Vidhi, what will happen? This is one nice story from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, past time. Right? When Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a district magistrate during that British time, and in near one village in Orissa, one person was there. He was claiming he's a Baba. He acquired some mystic powers, and he is doing all magics. And with that magic, and he is claiming himself as a Vishnu. And since he's saying that, in the village, he was asking, okay, in the night time, he was asking all the people in that village to come and do Rasa Leela. So this is how this person was doing. And many people fed up with this guy, and some people complained to government. Then government, what they did, okay, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Kedarnath Datta, right? So he is a very spiritual and elevated person. They know so he dedicated the assigned this task to Bhaktivinoda Thakur to go and see. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur went there. And as soon as Bhaktivinoda Thakur reached there, that person with mystic power says, "Oh, you are Kedarnath Datta. So, okay, welcome." Then he said, "Don't run behind me. I'll make you king of this world." That sage was saying that the person who is claiming himself as a Vishnu is saying, don't run behind me. Don't try to arrest me. I'll make you king of this world." Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur tell, "Why are you sitting in this village? You go and stay in Puri, because this is happening in Orissa. So you go and stay in Puri and you do your bhakti. It will be good for you." Then that person told, "Oh, why you have to go to Puri? Puri Jagannath, it's like a wood. I am a Vishnu," he was claiming. Then Bhaktivinoda got very angry. Then he instructed his servants, because two policemen came in the normal dress with Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he asked them to arrest. Then they were a bit hesitated, because he is a sadhu, everything. But still, Bhaktivinoda Thakur instructed, and they arrested him. And finally they brought him to the court. And in the court, by the time what happened, because of his mystic powers, Bhaktivinoda Thakur family, all the family members got very the high temperature, the fever. And then his wife everyone was thinking, okay, since Bhaktivinoda Thakur tried to arrest him, as a result, all these people in the family became sick. So they were all thinking. But now finally the court, they all entered into the court. And in the court, Bhaktivinoda Thakur told to cut his hair, because the powers are lying in his jata, in hair, right? He instructed the people to cut the hair, the servants and the officials. But they were hesitating. They know, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur arrested, all his family members were sick now. So if we do anything wrong, they will have the same issues. That's what his servants were thinking. They were hesitating. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur took the scissors and cut his hair. Then as soon as he removed that hair, he became the person who was claiming himself as a Vishnu. He was completely fell unconscious, and he lost all his powers. And they put him in the prison. Finally, after some time, he took poison and he committed suicide. So this is the impact of, if you don't follow the Shastra Vidhi and create your own mental concoction where you do whatever you feel like to doing, this is the example. What will happen? You will be nowhere. Like you come in, like the example. So this is the key message from this verse is, practice your Varnashrama Dharma, but with the Krishna conscious way. So take the instructions from your spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master, execute those instructions. Then you will be in a right path. It's already 8:50, so I will stop here. Any comments? Okay. Nirantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.